Good day, Open Bible family. I'm very happy to be with you today via this digital media platform and to speak a little bit about continuing the legacy. 72 years or so ago, there was a missionary who was with the Open Bible USA, Reverend Isbell is his name. He was on his way from Sumatra back to the USA because of the outbreak of war. All missionaries were asked to leave because of the safety concerns. On his way back to the USA, the ship on which he traveled passed through Port of Spain. While they were refueling, he got some time to look around, and he was able to observe the diversity of the peoples here in Trinidad and Tobago, and also he was able to capture a desire for this nation based on the fact that he was working among the Indo community at Sumatra. On his way back to the US, this continued to boil in his heart. And sometime after, when he became the missions director of USA, Open Bible, he engaged a couple, a family, the Williamsons, who were also in Sumatra. And he asked them to be a part of this mission here to Trinidad and Tobago. 72 years, fast forward, the rest is history. The Open Bible Standard Churches of Trinidad and Tobago stand strong in the legacy of a concern that was birthed in the heart of one individual. But we know, dear friends, that concern first initiated in the spirit and heart of God, a concern for humanity. And so various persons were raised up, various persons were challenged by the Spirit of God to reach to various people groups across the nations. And so Open Bible USA came to Trinidad and Tobago. As we look at this reality now and how God has blessed us, we must continue this legacy. It is a legacy that was birthed through a divine concern, a divine interest in the well-being of others. God had an interest in the well-being of humanity, and so he sent his son Jesus Christ to pay the price, to reconcile us and bring us back into relationship with himself. He took the first step. I want to celebrate the fact that Open Bible USA took the first step out of a divine concern for the people group that Reverend Isbell identified. And so it was not limited to that people group, but it spread throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And from us, this legacy of a divine concern, continuity of the faith in Jesus Christ and the hope of salvation through Christ was spread throughout other nations. I want to encourage us as we look at our legacy and we continue it, as we have in our spirits and our hearts, and it will be seen through our actions, the reality of this divine concern that is relevant to today, therefore, Open Bible family, that we will take the message of hope, we will take the message of God's love to everyone we meet. Esther did that, dear friends. Mordecai intercepted news of the potential threat to annihilate the Jews. There was a concern that was birthed in his heart, transferred to his niece, Esther, and she intervened. When Abraham found out about the impending challenges, he gathered up men from his home because of a divine concern, and he pursued and he helped. We have the ultimate example of Jesus Christ. But even before I go there, Paul, as he writes to the Roman church in Romans chapter 10, he says, his heart and prayer, his concern for Israel is that they would be saved. Jesus Christ, out of a position of love and concern for humanity, came and went to the cross. How then are we to continue this legacy if we must carry the same concern? I even want to reference Nehemiah in Nehemiah chapter 1. When he saw Hanani, one of his brethren, coming back up from Jerusalem, he inquired of the well-being of the people, his people, God's people. And he was told the gates are broken down, or they are burnt, the walls are broken down, the sepulchres of their parents, their fathers, their ancestors laid waste. It was a humiliating experience, a painful experience. And so there was a concern that was birthed in his heart. He wept, he fasted, he prayed, and he then sought permission from the king so that he can go and rebuild. There was a concern that was birthed. And I want to encourage us, if we are to really continue the legacy with the intensity it requires to fulfill the Great Commission in this season, that we too must have a divine concern. We must ask the Holy Spirit to birth within us that divine concern for our fellow men, for our villages, our communities, our streets, our cities, our towns here in Trinidad and Tobago and other parts of the world, dear friends. We must continue the legacy of a divine concern that was birthed in the heart of God, released into the heart of man, and carried by willing, working witnesses to transform our world. 72 years ahead, and look at where we are. Can you imagine where we would be if we continued this legacy of a genuine divine concern for our fellow men? How then can we do it? We can do it by talking to one another, talking to our neighbors, talking to our friends, speaking with our communities, speaking with our fellow employees. Students can do it by sharing hope with their fellow classmates. How can we do it? We can do it by outreaches to our communities. We can do it by stepping out of the box of our regular church gathering, and every one of us doing something to bring the love of Christ, the hope that we have in Jesus Christ, which is eternal and makes us not ashamed. We can bring that hope to those who need it. We can start a cell group. We can start a community initiative. We can work to plant another Sunday school, because we need to continue this legacy of a divine concern to see others brought to Jesus Christ. Dear friends, we have an amazing opportunity before us. We have divine resources available to us. All we need to do now is embrace that divine concern and continue the legacy of hope, faith, and love in Jesus Christ.